Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to another entry as I dive into a horror film which has had a lot of notice lately over the last year or two, as a sequel was just recently released and another sequel is announced for later on this year. For this video, I'm covering Terrifier from 2016. This one you've probably heard of for two reasons. One being Art the Clown, very creepy little character and everything, and the other one is for it being ultra gory as well. But the big question is there actually enough story or anything else going on in this film for it to be worth checking out? You know, if all people ever really talk about are the clown and the violent horror? Well, the synopsis for this film is as follows. On Halloween night, Tara Hayes finds herself as the obsession of a sadistic murderer known as Art the Clown. So that's about all you really need to know going in. This character of Art the Clown was first introduced to my knowledge in a short film, which was then included in the anthology film All Hallows Eve, which I actually picked up recently and hope to put up a little anthology video about that later on this year. So be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you get notifications for when I put that up. But as for Terrifier, I had seen this one in the sequel, Terrifier 2, Electric Boogaloo, it's just called Terrifier 2. So I'd seen Terrifier and Terrifier 2 previously, but it had been quite a while, it's been a while back. So I wanted to scoot them up, sit down, and give them another watch. So diving back into this one, the first one, Terrifier, had pretty much the exact same feelings I had when I first watched it, that it was like this very late night, isolated, hopeless feel of what's going on in this, as this clown is kind of on this killing spree. There isn't much which can really be spoiled about the story, except for a few things tying the beginning of it to the ending. But the basics of this are that this clown appears as these girls are hitting up this local pizza joint late at night after some Halloween festivities. He does his little thing trying to be cute and then kind of comes across as really creepy and gets himself kicked out, and these girls eventually leave. They have some car troubles. One needs to use the bathroom, so they approach this, janitor who's like watching over this building, doing some work, see if one of them can use that restroom. So of course this separation works into their disadvantage as Art is starting to go after them, which much of the pursuit kind of taking place in the bowels of this building. We've got a lot of little jumps coming up here and there, some real scares, which in my opinion, I really feel like it's in the performance of this clown, this silent miming these laughs and amusement and bewilderment over the horrible things that he's doing really comes across as extremely creepy. Like there's nothing anybody can do to get out of the situation. They can't really outsmart him or reason with him or anything. He's just doing these horrible things for an unknown motive. So throw in some of the other stuff, the more popular stuff it seems, as far as like, the gore, and it really does hit hard, but it's strange to say that this is not like a non-stop gore fest. So the scenes are spaced out, but they're very shocking and detailed. Very detailed with practical effects especially, which is really interesting to see. So we get presented with something truly shocking, then we have some time to move on and recover from it, and then something similarly shocking or even more shocking and gory and violent will happen again to kind of shock you again to another level. Rather than having this non-stop gore fest where you eventually become desensitized and almost bored with it. But needless to say, as I mentioned all that gore and violence, this is not one to use as a way to introduce some non-horror friends of yours to the genre, because it's definitely going to be a bit too much. But anyways, as far as the performances within, we have David Howard Thornton as Art the Clown, and he does an excellent job, as does everybody. And really the only actress I was familiar with in any way was Catherine Corcoran, who I knew from a couple of the Trauma films, from Return to Nukem High Volume 1 and Return to Nukem High, aka Volume 2. But she and the others do a really great job, as these characters are written in a way that you never want to cheer on the antagonist. You're really hoping that although these characters aren't perfect, you want them to get out, you want them to survive. So it makes this violence a bit more scary because you're rooting for them and not for the bad guy. And you want to see who this final girl will be, what this outcome is going to be. So although it has a lot of the shock and the gore, I was always on board with seeing how this thing is going to be wrapped up, especially that it also has a pretty tight runtime. I think of only 90 to 100 minutes maybe. But on top of that, we get this crazy ending that kind of ties some things together. So by the time you get there, seeing this is more of there's more to kind of pull you in than just the gore, and especially knowing there's a part 2 coming, and now, at the time of this video, part 3 is right around the corner. It makes this whole film actually really worth checking out. And speaking of checking out, thanks for checking out this quick little entry here for Terrifier from 2016, which at the time of this video is available on Peacock, as well as some ad-supported services such as Vudu, Roku, Tubi, and Plex, as well as, of course, some paid services. I actually picked it up on Blu-ray as I kind of continue to build up my physical media connection, so I don't have to worry about something leaving one provider and ending up somewhere else. I believe this was about maybe 11 bucks, so it's definitely worth that price. Anyways, thanks for coming by and sticking around to the end, as it really does help out the channel quite a bit. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and so you can see when I put up my next video for part 2, which will be a little bit down the line, and of course later on this year, as I'm anxiously awaiting how part 3 is going to be when that comes out, I believe in October sometime, and it's supposed to have some sort of a Christmas theme. All I know is that I've seen pictures of Art the Clown dressed up as Santa Claus, so that should be pretty interesting to see where they're actually taking that. Anyways, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for coming by, and I will see you in the next one.